So we're gonna do logging in and accessing Brightspace, the Minibar, Navbar homepage area, account settings and notifications, and then the mobile app. Let's see. Let me go ahead and share my screen with you. All right. Can you guys all see my screen now? It's a big black screen. So when you're first going to Brightspace, our new URL is learn.marywood.edu. One of the nice things about it being that is we will be able to keep it forever. So if in another 5 years and when our contract is up, we decide Brightspace isn't for us, it will still be learn.marywood.edu henceforth. But when you go there, it won't log you in. It'll take you to our username and login page, and your login credentials here are the exact same as they are for Moodle and the Marywood U portal now. So nothing new to learn there.
Pat, should we be doing this or no?
It's up to you. If you'd like to, you can. Otherwise, you could watch, or you can do it on your own and just listen to me talk about it while you explore. Okay. Either way, whatever works best for you. And if I go too fast, let me know if you are following along. But so here we are. So our home screen has 3 areas. The first is our white bar at the top, which is referred to as our mini bar area. Then below that is our navigation bar, and then down here is the actual home page. So if we start up here in our mini bar area, we have our Marywood logo, which stays there all of the time. So if you ever want to get back to this page, you just have to click on the Marywood logo and it will always bring you back here. Next up, we have our handy dandy waffle icon. And this is essentially the courses area. So when you click on that, you will see any of the courses that you are currently allowed to access. All right, there's also these pins here. So if you wanted one course to be at the top, like if there's one course that, you know, you go in a lot, you have Navy students in it, whatever it is, you can click this pin, and then the next time you log in, that course will show at the top. And if you want to unpin one, you just click it again. So, I mean, you can pin multiple courses. Like if you had 7 courses for the semester, you could pin 2, and those 2 would always show at the top, whichever it is. Any questions on the pins? All right. The next step is, this is our messaging notification center, these 3 icons. And once again, this white bar stays at the top of every page. It's always there. So the first one is kind of an email area for within Brightspace. So it's nice because you can email your students directly from here. Students in your classes, their emails will start to like autofill for you. I mean, and this is like a one-off. We'll talk in later sessions about emailing like all of your class at once and super fun things like auto agents. Woohoo. And not auto like car, like auto as in automatically. But so this is where you would go to email. You know, when you click on email, fun things in here. Compose a message. You can CC or BCC people just like in a regular email. You can adjust the subject. All sorts of fun things. One of the super cool things I'm going to show you here, even though you don't have anything in it yet, is this quick link button, because you can actually quick link to things in your course. So if you have a rubric built, you can send a link to a rubric that you have made. You can send a link to an assignment in your course. So like if a lot of people haven't posted in your discussion yet, or if like one student didn't do an assignment, you can email them and use the quick link button to send them a link that will take them directly to whatever the assignment is. Assignment, content item, third-party items, quiz, discussion, anything you build in your course. But, so it's got all the regular things. We have upload a file in here that you could do in an email. We also have record audio. So if you just wanted to do an audio recording, you could. You can also choose existing files if you have things saved in here and all that fun stuff. And then you'll just hit send at the bottom, or there's a send at the top. You can look at your sent emails, see when they were sent, all that fun stuff. So that's just the email feature right here within Brightspace. The other item that we have up here in our notification bar is subscription alerts. So if you're subscribed to any forums, those items will show up here. So if you subscribe to like a general question forum in your courses, you will get notifications here when a student posts in those general questions forums. Next up, we also have this notification area, and this is more beneficial for students than it is for you, but students can get notifications when assignments are due. If you upload content, they can get a notification that the content has been uploaded. This one actually is really cool. Like up here, it says content created. Down here, it says, oh, I go back. Down here, it actually says content updated. So like if you had something posted for students and you're like, oh, I made a change to it, you can actually check a box that says notify students, and the part where it says the transcript is now available, I typed that. So that way they knew what was updated about it. So, you know, it'll also give, Riley, what other kind of notifications are there? There's more than content. I'm just blanking right now. Do you remember? But it'll say, oh, when they get a grade, if you grade something, they'll get a notification that it's graded, all that fun stuff. So that's everything that is in the message area here. So email, there is also instant message, so you could click on it and you can go to your class list, and so you can see who's online or offline, you know, send them a message and chat with them instantly, just like we have the Moodle message now. So all of that. Any questions on our message area?
Hey, Kat, when we send, when they do get the notification, are they able to manage that, or are we able to manage that? So like oftentimes I'm grading at strange hours. I don't want them to get notified that their grade is up. So is there a way to control when they actually get the notification, or if they do get the notification?
Not when they get it. So like if you grade it and you have it set up to like notify the student, you could. One option, a lot of things, it lets you save a grade as a draft. So like if you're grading at 1 in the morning, you could save as a draft, and then like during a regular business hour, you can hit publish all. So that's there. But, and otherwise, like if they're getting, if they're using the app, which we'll talk about later, some people set up, you know, quiet hours on their phone. So like my phone set up to like not send me notifications from like 9 to 7 a.m. Okay.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. All right. Next up in our mini bar is basically your account settings and notification areas and how you view as a student. So when you click on your profile name here, you can go to your profile. You can change your picture, you can add a tagline, little interest and hobbies, anything you'd like to share. Another thing that's here is notifications. And this is something that we're encouraging the students to go to as well. So when they go to notifications, it will remind them that, hey, there's a super cool app, woohoo. But they can also add a second email address, I think. And there's this fancy button right here that says register your mobile number. So even if they're a student who, by the off chance, doesn't have a smart device and doesn't want to get the app, they can do their text or cell number, or if you want to put your cell number in there, and then they can choose, you know, so how often do you want to get a summary activity for your courses, daily, weekly, and then you can choose when you want to get instant notifications and how you get them. So what do you want to be emailed about? what do you want to get text messages about? And you can see all different items. So like on assignment, get a reminder when an assignment due date is 2 days away. Let me know when I have feedback. Let me know when I have a grade that's been released. So like Jessica, your question, if they get notified, they might not get a text or an email about it if they don't have it checked. So even if you published it at 1 in the morning, they probably wouldn't see that notification until they logged in, unless they have the app turned on with push notifications for the app. So you can also customize the notifications a little bit down here. They can include the grade value, allow future courses to send them notifications, all sorts of different things there. And this is set up on the course on the home page here as a reminder as we're getting everybody into this, but it also will help as you're starting courses, you know, remind students that they should go and set up their notifications if they haven't already, and that they can add a mobile number and all of the things. For you guys, the other important button here is view as student. So anytime you want to see what it looks like as a student, you can click on it. You notice the profile icon will now change to this little double arrow, so you know that you're in student view. It says as a student. And then if you wanted to come back, you'll see the only difference here is the students now have this my portfolio setting for the e-portfolio feature that's built into Brightspace, but you just hit the X and you are back to you. The last area in this section is the account settings. And if you have any needs with accessibilities, or your students do, account settings is where you'd want to go. You can change your font size for how you'd like it to default. We have small, medium, and large and huge. Dialogue settings, so you could read a little bit about these. Don't touch the HTML editor settings unless you need it for accessibility needs. But that's what most of these items are. So like you'll see the video settings here, it says optimized for programmatically driven assistive technologies. So things for our students with accessibilities and disabilities who need different items. You can adjust your clock, 12-hour, 24-hour, whatever you prefer, what your first day of the week is. Right now it's defaulted to Sunday, how you like to view the date, you know, if you care how the percentages are written, lots of different things you can personalize about how Brightspace appears to you, and fun things there. Up at the top, we also have other tabs for discussions. So if you want to care, like if you always want to include the original reply in the discussion, I personally don't do that because I think I just delete it anyways. But you can check those out. And of course, if you have a question on something, there's always the little question marks you can click on, and it will give you an overview of the items. Also for email, this one's a nice one because you can add an email signature here in this account settings area. So when you send that email to students, you know, if you wanted it to always say your name or a number or whatever it is, just like when you send your regular email, you can put that in here as well, so you don't have to type it every time. You can also choose to send a copy to your personal email every time you send a message. If you want, I don't do that because they save in the send folder in here. So, but you could if you wanted. Are there any questions on account settings, notifications? Anything in this area?
When students reply to the emails we send through this, does it come to our regular Marywood account?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's not like right now in Moodle, if we send an email from Moodle or a message, like the students can't reply to it directly. They then have to like log back into Moodle to reply to the message, or then actually type a separate email to you. This will just reply to you. All right. Let's see. Mhm. All right. So next up, I'm gonna see. Riley, do you want to see if you can join our Zoom from your phone to do the app?
Okay. I wasn't able to share my iPhone in a previous session with Zoom, but I can bring
Really?
up the app anyway.
Okay.
It was giving me some major issues about screen mirroring, so I don't want to waste anyone's time, but I can open it up for sure.
So while we are talking about our Zoom nonsense here, I will take a time to show you about a couple different links up here. I'm going to promo them a little. The first one is the LOR, which stands for Learning Object Repository. So basically what that is that if your department shares resources across the department, if you have a lot of the same section of class that different people teach and, you know, or help for adjuncts, and you're like, let me share some resources with you, that's what the Learning Object Repository is. So basically right now I'm setting them up by request as departments or people ask for them. But you're allowed to publish items to a repository, and you're allowed to add items from the repository to your class. So right now, if we needed you, like if you wanted to share items with somebody in your class, we would have to make you the editing instructor in both possibly, so you could import it from one section to the other. This is a third-party place, so if there's anything you want to share, we can add it to a repository, and then anybody else who has access to it can actually just go there and add it to their course. And then the other item would be this Discover section. I don't think I put anything in there yet. So the Discover section is essentially open enrollment courses. So if your department has like a general course for students where they share resources in the major or different things, we can add it so it's on the Discover tab and easily searchable. And then students can come, they can click on it, they'll see like a little overview of what it is, and they can click enroll in the course in like general, like open course items beyond our traditional classes. But, all right. Any questions on that? Yes, no, maybe so. I lost lots of faces, I don't know. Okay, let's see. I'm trying to see if my phone will share the app with you guys.
Yeah, maybe it's an iPhone thing.
Yeah, now that I have left the iPhone crowd behind.
If it doesn't work, I could always record like a Google Meet, because I know it worked in there once, and just kind of send out a short recording about the features and stuff.
Yes, so while I'm looking, sorry, 9867287. Guys, I'm in the meeting twice now. All right, so in a minute, I will go ahead and share. But so our app is called the Brightspace Pulse app. So it's not just Brightspace, it's Brightspace Pulse. And one of the cool things about it is that it allows students to easily access all of our content on their phones. And if it doesn't exist in the app natively, it will automatically take them to the web version. So that way they can do quizzes, they can look at content, all the fun stuff. I'm actually installing the app right now because I got a new phone last week. While I'm waiting on my install, here we go. Also just promo real quick. There's some fun things here in the class progress. We're going to talk more about this coming up, but I love it. So you can see overviews about your students, like logins and how often they've looked at discussions and how much content they've completed. And all of this content piece, like right now in Moodle, you have to turn the activity completions on for everything. This was just automatic. It's set up, it did it all by itself. And for those with stricter accreditation requirements, eventually when it loads, you'll be able to see how long they were on each piece of content. So like I know I have like an 8-minute video posted somewhere, so you can see their total hours that they've been in your course. Now, if you have like third-party items or links out on some other website, obviously it doesn't track that, but this tells you how long they have been in Brightspace, and I can see how long they were actually on each item. So I can see he looked at this for 18 seconds and he's never been on this item. Or like down here, he did everything in the to-do section. So everything down here will have like an overview, but just things to look forward to. So 41 seconds, 1 minute and 13 seconds on this survey, 6 minutes in the introduction forum. So fun things. All right. Screen. All right. Let's see if it worked. Can you guys see my phone?
Not yet. It's, oh, yep, there it is.
Ah, there's my phone. Hi guys, see, important things. Junkin, Google me. All right, so the Brightspace Pulse app is this orange one up at the top of the screen. It says Pulse. So when you first log in, it gives you like a little bit of an overview. You can click next, 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 woohoo, and then we'll go ahead and click get started. So I'm going to do allow while using the app, and then the first question that comes up is who provides your learning? So you can see Marywood came up at the top because it went off based my location. If it didn't come up, you would just simply type Marywood U into the top here. So I'm going to click on Marywood and it takes us to our sign in page. And then you can go ahead and sign in. All right. So you can see, I can see my courses. The nice thing, you get this overview of your courses. So if you look down on my stats course, you can see the overview of how many items have been posted. So the 22 is I have 22 assignments that have been submitted that I need to grade. And the 27 is how many new forum posts I have to read. Fancy. All right, we still have that pin option. So if you wanted to pin courses to the top here in the app, you could. It looks a little bit different. Oh, here they are. They're on the bottom now. So down on the bottom, you can see we have the courses in the middle. If I click upcoming and not the little Zoom notification, let's move that. Okay. All right. So the upcoming on the work to do, we have events and all. So I like the all tab because then you can see everything together. It'll show everything that's coming up, that's due. And for the students, it will do this with all of their classes and with you guys, because you have, most of you have more than one class. So you'd be able to see everything coming up in the week that you have scheduled that you need to do. And then you can see on this date. So do you see where like this little blue peak is? That means that there's something due versus like this upcoming Monday, there's more things to do, so that it has a higher peak. So when students look at this, they're able to kind of get an overview of their week and all of their classes populate it. So they'll be able to see which days they have the most things due. They also have the option of hitting this little plus button, and they can add work to do or an event. And the nice thing is that they can actually tag it to their courses. So, you know, if you give them a long-term project, they can actually go in and schedule themselves little different like breakpoints or checkpoints for the project. They can give a note for themselves if it's part of their grade or not. They can also just do an event. So if you said, like, for this class, I want you to go watch this reading, or, you know, we used to have to go see the Philharmonic at some point. Like, I could schedule when the Philharmonic was and what course I was going to the Philharmonic for. But that would show up in this list and then affect the items and how that pulse is displayed. This timeline right here, this is why it's called the Brightspace Pulse app, because it's supposed to give you the pulse of your courses. They'll also get their notification centers here, so you can see all the different update issues. So global announcements that are made, so like this access restored issue was an announcement, excuse me, that I made for the course. So they can see those different items, whatever they are. Content was updated, things were emailed, and then subscriptions will also show up here that they can get notifications for. And it's up to them and you if you want to get like pulse notification, or like the push notifications that show up on the top of your phone or not. The only other thing here in the app would be that when you're on this My Courses area, we have these 3 green bars. You can hit this to launch the Marywood homepage. If you click the Marywood link itself, we have settings. So the show graph, I like to have the graph on for all of them. So I did that. And all that did was when I go back to my upcoming, now if I'm on the all tab, I'll be able to see that graph for everything also there. But past. So when they click on an item, they can see what it is. They can click go to activity. It opens and launches. So the week 3 to do is where we needed to go, and it has it down here, and you know, we can click on and go to all of the things. So here's the discussion. I can read all my directions. I can look at other people's and see them all. And it looks just like it does when we are on the actual website. So, oh, sorry, that was a super fast scrolling. I forgot you guys were watching. But, all right then. So I'm gonna go ahead. Do you guys have any questions on the app? No, no app questions? All right then. Let me figure out how to stop sharing my screen. There we go. Guys, I'm trying, I'm failing.
You want me to kill it from this end? Oh, you got it. Okay.
I got it. I was just not clicking in the best spot. All right, so that was it for today's topic, overview, introduction. We are done early, so I would say if anybody has any questions, feel free to ask. If you wanted to take a minute, if you haven't logged in at all, if you wanted to go log in, try some things out, click around. All of your fall courses are populated on Brightspace now. So if you were to log in, all of the fall stuff is there, is live. So you could go look at it, you could click around. Riley and I can hang out for the half hour in case anybody has any questions while you're clicking around or whatnot.
So as we click around and make some changes with what's actually currently on Moodle, it doesn't mess with Moodle. This is just like separate. We can just play here and everything's cool.
Yep.
Okay.
Yes, and I think anybody who requested a shell course, like just something to practice in for spring, Riley made all of those for you. So if you click your little waffle icon, you could go and click there and start to look around if you wanted. Let's see. Yeah, next week we're going to do transferring content from Moodle. So if you already know how to make a backup in Moodle, you can actually upload that to Brightspace really easily. So, but Riley and I will hang out if anybody has questions, or if you want to go click around and look at it. So there's nothing in the courses other than the fact that your name is there and all of your students are listed. Let's see. For any courses that you do put on Brightspace in the spring, I will give you a Moodle file and we'll go over uploading that to your Moodle courses. And it'll just be a little notification for your students that says, hey, this course is on Brightspace, our new LMS. Here's some student trainings. Here's the link. Here's some videos about Brightspace. Get the app. So that way the students can be directed to it. We're also going to be notifying all of the students this week that we're switching to Brightspace now that the semester has calmed down a little bit, relatively speaking.
So should we notify you, Kat, or Riley with a specific course name for spring so that can be set up for us?
Yeah, so like right now, if you're planning on putting more than one course in, I recommend just using the shell because we can transfer it easily. And then like starting with that one course, and then in like 3 weeks, all of the spring stuff will populate.
Right.
And if you're missing anything at that point, we can add extra shells for you.
Okay. So for me right now, all of my fall courses are there. But if I wanted to play between now and when they officially get loaded, I would need one of the spring courses loaded in the near future, right?
Yeah, so I guess, yeah, just email Riley and I, and whoever has time first,
Yeah.
we'll make you a course.
Okay.
I have a question, Kat. Maybe you already answered this with that, with the other thing you just.
Mhm.
Sorry. So if we want all of our spring to kind of populate into Brightspace, just because maybe we aren't necessarily teaching it. I'm sorry. Let me back up. All of our fall to populate into spring, because even though we're not necessarily teaching that course, but we want it in there moving forward because all the content is there. Would we do anything different, or would we just?
No. Yeah, so since all the fall courses are already there, like if your fall course is mostly set up or at the end of the fall semester, you can just go ahead and like back up what you have in your fall course now on Moodle and import it into the fall course as it exists on Brightspace. So that way you'll have it and it will be there, and now it will exist in the Brightspace area.
Okay. So if we wait until the end of the semester, anything that we kind of added or changed throughout the semester kind of would go in accordingly.
Yeah, yeah, if you do it at the end, any
Okay.
changes and all the updates will go.
I'll wait till then because I'm always making changes.
Yes, me too. Me too. If anybody if you have like a lot of files on your computer for like a course, so like, you know, if you have your course like it's Math 110 and you have, here's my chapter 1 files, here's my chapter 2 files. If you have all of them in one set folder that says like, here is this course folder with all of my resources, we can actually upload all of those to Brightspace at one time in that course. And then as you're going through the course, you can just say, here's my course files, here's my chapter 1, etc. and get to them at any point in time. Here, let me go back a second, because I showed it to you guys before when I was not in my course. Let's see. Good deal. Let's make an announcement. So I showed you that quick link button before. And it's just like the URL link. So now that I'm in my course, you can see all of the things, types of things that I have in my course. And one of them is a course file here. So if I click on it, I made a content files folder, but I'm adding as I go because I'm not organized enough to have all of my stuff in the appropriate folders. But if you are, you'd upload it and they would all just be here. And you could click on whatever you wanted and it automatically links it to wherever you need. So if you're adding an announcement, it will automatically link to anything that you have. If you're adding a piece of content, it will all automatically link. And that will make more sense next week when we start to kind of talk about announcements and stuff more per se. But there are fun things. So like here's an old announcement I made. And it says like, so I said after completing your collaborative notes on chapter 2 text. So if I click collaborative notes, it opens up their collaborative notes assignment. Cannot connect to Google Drive right now. Of course not. But all of the things that I made, I just used Quicklinks for, and it, can I move this? And it links to everywhere in the course. So like this was the assignment that they had to submit. So for them, it takes them right to the submission page when they click on it. It takes them right to the discussion page and all that fun stuff. I also integrated the Zoom, guys. So you can click on Zoom and schedule meetings from here. Mine's gonna work weird because it's in the incognito window, and incognito windows don't like things because I'm logged in my admin account regularly and here in my personal account, but yeah, so it logs in and anything that you schedule here automatically shows for your students and on your Zoom account, and hopefully we don't need as many Zoom meetings in the spring. Any other questions or fun stuff from our getting started today?
I'm sure I'll think of 1,000 things as I go along, but
Yes. If you guys do come up with questions, your best bet is to put them in as a help desk ticket, because then Riley and I both have access to them. So that way, whoever has time first will get to it. Plus, Riley and I have some vacations coming up. I don't know where Riley's going, but I'm trying to go camping in Gettysburg.
Nice.
Maybe a silly question, but long ago we used to be able to create Moodle shells for different purposes other than academic purposes. And it used to be really easy, and then we could still do it, but it's a little bit more challenging now. How about with Brightspace? Would that be something that we could create for like student clubs or things of that nature going forward?
So I am actually having a meeting with Michael and what's her name, Haley, I think. I haven't actually met her yet. This week, tomorrow, I think, to discuss using Brightspace more for club settings and such because of this handy dandy new Discover tab. So that way all of the clubs could be in here, and somebody could just come in and search for nutrition club, or if we make sure that like all of the club ones have clubs, so like it's another way to engage students, because the clubs have a shell here. They could say like, here's when we meet, join us. And one of the nice things about this is all of the courses have, like, if I know we have Zoom right now for faculty, but some of the students, we don't have accounts for students to have Zoom. But if they wanted to be able to kind of like host and record things on their own, we do have the virtual classroom in here, which is basically a better integration of Bongo than we currently have in Moodle. Stupid private window, but Bongo's built in. So if we were to make a shell for like a course for a club, the student, whoever like the president is per se, could go in and be listed as an editing teacher and create a virtual classroom Bongo thing to record all of their meetings and do the screen shares and take votes using the poll feature and all of that fun stuff. Because I know we've had a couple of requests for clubs for students to have access to Zoom, or for students to have had like access to the advanced features in Google Meet where we could record. And unfortunately, that just wasn't something that we were able to provide because of costs and such. And so, but moving forward, we could use this because that virtual classroom feature is built in. And if you say this is the president and vice president, I can say, all right, they are editing teachers, and they'd be able to schedule the meetings through the virtual classroom tool and all of that fun stuff.
You actually answered the question within the question, and that was about the whole thing with the students having trouble, handling the business of the clubs without having that full Zoom account. So I guess the secondary question to that would be, has the university begun discussions about if we can't afford to pay for those for the club presidents, is there a way that we can get that at a discounted rate for the club presidents if they wanted to do it that way?
So if people wanted to purchase an additional Zoom account for their club presidents through our account, it would be $50 per account at our discounted enterprise rate. So we do not have any additional funds to purchase additional licenses, but if your club wanted to pay the $50, we could add one and then interdepartmental charge. So, or like I said, if your club is new or doesn't have $50, we could just use the virtual classroom on Brightspace.
And how long does that last for, that $50?
A year. Yes, and we did not spend, we did not spend enough. We are not big enough to have gotten the free student accounts with our purchase.
Thanks.
That's actually okay. So I guess when you do speak with Michael and Haley in a couple of days, can you mention some of this to them? Because a lot of the clubs do fundraising, so they do have their own budgets. So I think that this $50 would be something that a lot of the clubs might want to purchase.
Yeah, I will let them know so that way they can talk about it. But yeah, that's what our general response has been since we ran out of licenses. Anything else, guys? No. If you don't have any other questions, I mean, feel free to sneak out early. And if you want to log on and try things, like I said, Riley and I will hang out till 3 either way. So.
Do you want me to keep the recording going, or do you want me to?
No, we don't
Okay.
need to record our hanging out. Rachel, I liked your dog.